Hey folks, Elaine Marolakos Edelson. Hope you're having a beautiful day. This is Astrology Mojo. I want to help you get your mojo back. We're talking about Saturn entering the sign of Aries, constellation of Aries. A few fun facts. Let me just show it to you so you can see what it looks like. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, I'm going to swap it. There we go. There. Okay. Hey, come say hello to me. Hope you're having a beautiful day. So here is Saturn has just entered the constellation of Aries. And I took some notes on that because the last time Saturn was in Aries was October 25th, 1998 through February 28th, 1999. And if you were to look back, let's just say February 13th, 2026, from 1998 to 1999, and then what was happening in your life around that time? Saturn typically spends about 2.5 years in any constellation, and it retrogrades back and forth. So depends. So when we're looking at this particular Saturn in Aries, it's going to be there until August 31st of 2025 to give us a taste of what that's like. And then it's going to retrograde back into Pisces just for a little bit until February 13, 2026. So August, September, October, November, December, January, February, 6 months. It'll be back in the sign of Aries on February 13th, 2026 through April 12th of 2028. So why, and then it will move into Taurus. So while Saturn is in the sign of Aries, it's going to represent the part of you that wants to take what it knows, what it loves, what it believes is true, and act on it. Now, there's two versions of acting on things: revolution, also known as re-evolution, or there's a structured, compassionate, lawful, because of Saturn and what it represents, environment where the major structures of the world globally are going to work with changes. I'm being very careful with my words, or fight against them. And here's an example right now in the United States. Saturn in Aries, Harvard has now a free course online for every American to learn in simple terms how the government works and the Constitution so that people know their rights. Yes. An educational system is talking about the law for the common man. That's just one basic definition. And what I did was I kind of went through very quickly, or I will go through very quickly, what each of the astrological signs might experience. Whoopsie, just trying to move this. Nope, not working. Anyway, so let me get back to Saturn. Its companion, Neptune, is also going to retrograde in the winter months here in the Northern Hemisphere, back into Pisces. So we're getting a taste of what evolution and re-evolution can look like based on our needs. What do you need? What are you focused on? Well, let's go through the signs. For Aries, it's going to be all about your independence. All about your independence. And then when it retrogrades back into Pisces, it's going to be more about working out those things that stop you from independence. Individuality doesn't mean you will never have a partnership. If you're an Aries or Aries rising sign, individuality means you're ready to incorporate a partnership into your life where before it might not have been so easy. So independence and overcoming childhood trauma, Aries, Aries rising. For Taurus and Taurus rising, we're going to be looking at the 12th house, and that is really moving into a healing place to know deep down what's going on in your psyche, what patterns were created when you were young that now get in the way. Kind of similar to Aries, but not, because when we retrograde back into Pisces, Taurus will be looking at, who do you want in your world? What kind of clientele do you want in your business? Who are your friends? Any addictive people? Not going to fly. Any people who are there one day, gone the next? Not going to fly. So Taurus and Taurus rising, you're looking at kind of revamping what your standards are across the board for everything and what you believe in spiritually. Gemini rising, what we're looking at here when Saturn is in Aries, before it retrogrades back into Pisces and then some, is all about who you're with and why. Who are your friends? Again, it's going to overlap because of the retrogrades. But really, what direction are you headed in with people? And are your dreams coming true? And who can help you make those dreams come true? Are they friends? Are they associates? What types of people are there to nudge you out of the gate, with Aries being the primary motivation and momentum? And what elders can you rely on for wisdom and truth? Because this deals with the 11th house for you, Gemini rising. And then when it retrogrades back into Pisces, it's going to be more about, do I retire? Do I take the advice of my mentor, my employer, or a wise employee or a coworker? And what do I do with that information? Do I get another job? Do I move along? What's my life direction looking like right now? So Cancer rising sign, we are looking at Saturn in Aries in your 12th house. I'm sorry, in your 10th house. And that is all about career and life direction and masculine parent. So if you're emulating the masculine parent or you have a mentor, fantastic. If you've outgrown this person and you become the mentor for others, fantastic. If you're wondering, what should I be doing now? Do I retire? Or do I have a foothold in something where I can actually teach what I know and become that mentor, like I mentioned? And what is my career looking like right now? Maybe I just graduated college and, it's kind of wacky out there. You don't always need a degree to show that you know something. So think about the possibilities and being very versatile in your direction, because you want to be able to pivot. Cancer rising. And when it retrogrades back into Pisces, you're reviewing your contracts. That segues us to Leo rising. You're reviewing your contracts, and also, distant shores, or learning a new language, or marketing yourself in different ways to be proactive about what you want and how you're going to go get it. And are you going to take are you going to learn in a new course, a training course? Or are you going to create one and teach one? Or are you going to start questioning your beliefs, spiritual and religious beliefs? When Saturn retrogrades back into Pisces, that's Pisces right there, you're going to be looking at joint resources and finances. And do you have the money to do these things? Do you need to take out a loan? Then we move into Virgo, sun and rising sign. When Saturn is in Aries, for you, it's about estate planning. Now, sadly, I know a Virgo whose mom just passed a few days ago. We're sending love. And it makes you question, now who am I? It's a very odd thing when your parents move along and you're now the elder and you feel like an orphan in some ways. Estate planning also lends itself to insurance matters or how you're investing, especially joint resources with a spouse or a significant other or business partner. So Virgo rising, there's that. And then when it retrogrades back into Pisces, you're questioning, how much closer do I need to be with my intimate partners or partner, and or the people I work with, business clients? If I have a direct business partner, things need to change. You might need to change your insurance matters. You might need to be looking at how to divvy up the funds if you're selling a business. I know a Virgo who is selling a business and has a partner. And so you'll be looking at these things while Saturn is in Aries and then bounces back into Pisces. Love from Ghana. Love from Sedona, Arizona. Thank you for the love. Okay, Libra, Sun and Libra rising. We are looking at Aries, Saturn and Aries in your 7th house. That is the house of significant partnerships, marriage, business partnerships, also fan base, club, or open adversaries. So if you have difficulty maintaining composure, Libra Sun, Libra rising, while you're working on a mutual arrangement, business arrangement, marriage, it's important to feel your feelings. If you get angry, it's important to get angry. When Saturn in Aries represents the part of us that can be very stoic and very traditional about that's the way it is, or it can be someone taps you on the shoulder in a way that does not feel comfortable, and you question why you're even in any kind of relationship with this person because you thought something different. So you're the one who might have to change and lighten up and ease up and not be so hard on yourself or others. So that's Libra rising. When Saturn is in Aries, it's more of a sobering time, really. You can have fun. You can come out of a shell if you're a shy person, or you can relax more if you're a controlling person and, let there be harmony. Now, when it retrogrades back into Pisces, Saturn, it's going to feel like I need boundaries at work. I need to communicate with all the relationships that I have in a very honest way, but also show them that I'm worth something. Okay, Scorpio. When Saturn enters Aries, it will represent your 6th house of health, work, your well-being, and any pets that you might have. And this is all about you being in order, focused on health for you. And if you teach a training program, or maybe you're a fitness instructor, it's switching it up. And you might do 2.0. Maybe you have an exercise class for folks who are in their 20s, and you're doing hardcore stuff. And then you start to meet the older generation, Saturn, people with knee issues or bone issues, and you're thinking, you know what? I can train myself to add a different type of program. Or if you're someone who you're older now and your hormones are changing and your knees are creaking, or you can't do like aerobic exercise, which really isn't the best anyway, get a rebounder. It helps to rebuild density and strengthen your bones. So start looking at different ways to help yourself physically. And then once you're on track with the health, Scorpio, Sun, and rising, what else is happening is your work situation is changing. And what can that look like? Remember, physical health, emotional well-being tied in together. So how maybe if you're lobbying for a position, let them know who you are and what you've got going on for you. When Saturn retrogrades back into Pisces at the end of August, you're going to feel Like you need to work on your partnerships, make them the priority, and or work it out with coworkers or potential clients and see, oh, how do I take that next thing? I have to redo some mutual goals so that everybody's happy. And then we move on to Sagittarius. Saturn in Aries is going to light up your fifth house of romance, creativity, and children, taking risks. Isn't that exciting? You get all the fun. Sag rising, sun and rising sign. Okay, Saturn. This is about getting serious about your business. And that means if you're someone who plays too much, it's time to sober up. If you're someone who has written a book or you've produced some kind of art, it's time to get it out there. Let's organize that. Let's get it out there. If this is about a relationship, a significant other, or even, well, first with a relationship with a significant other, an equal, an adult, it's about setting the boundaries and saying, no, that's not okay anymore. Or you might be done. You don't want anybody holding you back, because when Saturn retrogrades back into Pisces at the end of August for 6 months, you're looking at getting work done. And if something is draining you, that doesn't work anymore, does it? So while it's in your fifth house and transiting your fifth house, it's important to know that for the next 2.5 years, and this is for everybody 2.5 years, but for you especially, like sit down and get it done. This is the time to focus on that outcome. Now, if it deals with children, maybe you're becoming a grandparent and you're thinking, oh, I was not expecting to become a grandparent, and getting the phone call, can you come and babysit? Because I work 2 jobs. So you're going to have to negotiate that in a very kind, healthy way. Or maybe you've been so excited to become a grandparent and now you can't wait to take over. That too. Take care of your body and your health and your mind so that you can have fun. Remember to play. Okay, Capricorn. Capricorn. We're looking at Saturn, and Saturn is your guide and your celestial muse. And when Saturn enters Aries, which it is now, through your 4th house, your home and family, some things have to change from a deeper level. Now, it can be cleaning out the closets, getting serious about, all right, we have to repaint the house, and we're going to clean out the shed, and we're going to weed and clean up the property, maybe get it ready to sell, maybe put it in a living trust so that we, can bequeath it to our children. Maybe you're looking at becoming more of an adult, but having more fun while you're doing it. Because the 4th house deals with home, hearth, but family, and bigger, who you are internally. It is the ultimate you, Capricorn, sun and rising. So what's happening in the home environment? Maybe you're fixing up a room. Maybe one of the kids, went off to college or got married, and you're fixing up the room to have an at-home business. So, what are the tax ramifications? What do you want it to look like? All that business. So the 4th house for you is your identity. And when it retrogrades back into Pisces, it's more like you want to combine fun with productivity, with your values, what really works for you and who you are. And Aquarius, let's move on to Aquarius now. Saturn in Aries for the next 2.5 years, except for the 6 months it retrogrades back into Pisces, is all about your 3rd house, and that is communication. Now, communication does not start when you open your mouth. It's about your perceptions, your beliefs, what you actually believe about life, yourself, how things work. And it's going to be important for you to change your mind and then get serious about the things that you know to be true for you. But yet, if those truths limit you and make you feel small, or you or make others small to elevate you, they're not working for you. If you say, "Oh yeah, I tried doing that thing. It doesn't work." Okay. When's the last time you tried it? 7 years ago? Well, have you tried it again? But just to be sure. And to start trusting your intuition more and to research, learn, grow, read, meditate, establish a routine. Saturn loves a routine because it wants to be productive and get things done. So when you're dealing with how your mind works, and you're thinking, I'm stuck in a position and that's just the way it is, or my father was that way and my grandfather was that way. Okay, no, you are not done. You've just made a statement to put yourself in concrete. Instead, think about, okay, how do I perceive this situation? If I say, oh, my favorite color is purple, and you say, me too, it will never be the same color. There are no two similar realities. We can share things and say, oh, I love chocolate. And someone says, I love chocolate too. And they're holding up a Kit Kat bar and you're holding up 100% cacao from Belize. It's different. One has chemicals and one doesn't. One is white and one is not. And I'm not talking about white chocolate. So it's like saying how I perceive and how I think needs to get serious. I need to grow and mature, number one, but I need to be flexible and be open. That's the Aries part. So when it retrogrades back from August, the end of August through for 6 months through February, it's going to be about where you live, who you are at home. Are you at home in your body? What's changing in your mind? Where do you feel like it's time to let go of the past and grow? So I hope that answers your question, Junior Captain Ramos. I don't do personal readings here, but if you have questions in general about astrology or intuition or neuroscience, which I've done a little bit of that too, feel free to ask. And it's important that you know, Aquarius, Sun and Rising, that with Saturn entering your third house, you might also have a sibling or a close friend who's like a sibling coming to you for help, or you going to them for help. And remember, the thing about Saturn in Aries is that it wants to be the parent, but it's also playful like a child. So be the adult in the room, of course, Aquarius, but also remember to lighten up and know that anything is possible if you believe it. If you'd like to know, and that wraps up all the signs, but if you'd like to know your moon sign and rising sign, you can go to astrologymojo.com and sign up for the newsletter, and you'll be given a free chart. You can look at the chart and see that this would be on the horizon line would be your rising sign, and wherever there is a moon symbol like this, a moon, it would show you where your moon is in which house and what sign it's in. So I hope that helps you. Okay, folks. So looking at Saturn in Aries now is just the beginning for the next 2.5 years. There's going to be radical transformation globally, especially with political systems, educational systems, legal systems, authority figures. And there's going to be that sense of, we're done. We're done, but we're starting over. And it's got to be we the people. We the people. And humanitarian aims will come in big because Pluto in Aquarius, even though it's retrograde right now, is making a positive angle to Neptune in Aries. And so the people will rise up looking for freedom and justice. Justice, Saturn, justice, and hard work, ambition. Neptune, the dream, ideal vision, compassion, intuition. Aries, momentum. If it's positive or negative, that depends on you. Pluto, core transformation, TNT. for the psyche. And Aquarius, humanitarianism, radical thinking, change. That's what we got going on here, folks. I hope this was helpful for you. Join me next week. We're going to keep talking about what's changing. We've got Jupiter coming up in Cancer. We're going to talk about that soon. So I think that all the videos, by the way, everything that I've been talking about in the videos on Facebook, at the end of June, they are going to now remove my videos or anyone's videos that are older than 30 days. So you can always find them on YouTube, Astrology Mojo, Elaine Marolakos Edelson. And you can expect the unexpected. The more you are present, the more you meditate, the more you let yourself be connected to spirit. You're a divine, sentient, eternal, celestial being. What are you thinking? What are you doing with your energy? What are you doing with your thoughts? Are your thoughts aligning with your heart? And if anything's out of alignment and not in sync, it's time to meditate more, bring it together, and come from a place of compassion in as many moments as possible. And instead of judging people, let's evaluate until we have all the facts. All right, folks, I will see you next week. Thanks.